Hi, I'm Israel Ironstein with thedatingacademy.com. Today we're going to talk about how to get a second date. Now, in order to get a second date, we need a really successful first date. So how do we get a successful first date? Let's start with one of the most important things about the first date, which is the mindset. What mindset you're coming into the first date with. And when I meet customers one-on-one in coaching, I ask them, what is your goal? When you go into a first date, what are you looking to get out of it? And I usually hear one of three answers. And I want to touch on all three and elaborate about them because two of them are not the right answers. And if your goal on the first date is one of those, that may be a big reason why it's harder to get a second date. And then we'll elaborate on the third part and how you make that work for you. So one of the very common answer I get is, I go to a first date to get a second date. Or it's another form of the same thing, to make the other person like me. I want to be liked, I want to be able to get a second date. That's the goal coming in. Now, what is good and what is bad about that? I want to talk about what is actually not good about it. The problem with the goal of coming in and saying, I want this, my goal is to actually get a second date, is number one, you're already assuming you're going to want a second date. You're giving the other person value, and you're already putting yourself as, it doesn't matter what I think of the other person, I want the other person to want me regardless. So you're already putting yourself below the other person. And when you give the other person value for free, you lose value, and nobody wants to date someone who doesn't have real value. So if you're coming in and putting your date on a pedestal, I'm going to try to get that person to like me, and you're automatically lowering yourself. And nobody wants something that is not worthy as much. Everyone wants to date up, nobody wants to date down. So that's one reason why coming with the mindset of gaining the second date is going to hurt your chance of getting a second date. Another reason is it creates a pressure to succeed. If you're coming in and in your mind, I have to get that second date, now you have a lot of pressure on this first date to actually be successful. And what's wrong with pressure? Some people perform best under pressure. Well, when it comes to dating, if you're nervous, the body language you're going to give out may be very similar to the body language of someone who's not interested. You're being short, you're not flowing in the conversation, you're kind of like making yourself small, you're not being alive, and you're not really being present because you're nervous. And this is the same body language you might give out if you're not interested in that person. Now, if that person gets the sense that you're not into it, they will, as a defense mechanism, because nobody wants to get rejected, will also pull away from being open to the possibility of actually wanting you. Because if you don't want them and they want you, they're setting themselves up for disappointment. The other problem is when you're really nervous, it clogs your mind. You're constantly thinking in your mind different things than what being present and talking about the conversation. What you're thinking is, how am I doing? Am I doing well? Am I doing not? What should I say? So now you're having a whole entire dialogue inside your mind while you're having a dialogue with the other person. You're not present and you're not real. And when you're not present, what happens is you don't allow real chemistry to develop, because the real chemistry happens when two people openly talk to each other and we're not really present. You have a whole different agenda in mind, you filter what you say, you think about everything. It's going to come out much more robotic than who you really are. Now, one of the other problems when you come in and your mindset is, I want to get a second date, whether you sense it or not, your date might feel like you're like a salesperson. Meaning a salesperson doesn't just say what's on their mind, doesn't always say the truth. A salesperson will try to bend the truth. A salesperson will try to highlight certain things that will get them to their goal. And a simple example of that would be if you're on a date and your date asks you, do you like cats? Now, if you don't care about the outcome of the date, you're just going to say how you feel about cats, whether you love them or you don't like them, or you're neutral about them, or you're allergic to them, or whatever you feel. Now, if you're coming in and your goal is to get a second date, what's going to happen is automatically you're going to think, what do I need to say to improve my chances? So now you're kind of like having a whole nother agenda going on, and you're not going to come across as authentic, as real, and as present as if you just come in there and you don't have that agenda. Now, the other problem is down the road, meaning the date is over. If you're putting all this pressure on yourself to get the second date, what happens is when you don't get it, it hurts your self-confidence moving forward. Now you feel like I got rejected again, and my goals, I wanted to get a second date, I didn't get it, I want to go again on a date. It's kind of like pushes you back and actually hurts your self-confidence in dating. The other part of it is now you're letting your own value being determined by the other person. I'm coming in there and I want that person to like me. That's what's going to make me. I need that person to like me. And when you're coming in with that mindset, you're actually allowing someone else who barely knows you to give you your value and your self-worth. So coming in with the mindset for second date, it's just not the right mindset. Besides, it will also, you're going to come across an overall desperate. Some kind of desperation will come across when you're here and all you want is to succeed. It's almost like trying too hard. So let's agree that coming in with a mindset of getting a second date, or the mindset of making sure the other person likes you, that's not going to work. Okay, so what's the other thing? So when I ask my customers, what is your goal? Very often I want to get to know the other person. I want to see if we're compatible. Sounds great. That's why people date, right? People date because they want to get to know the other person. And that's a perfect way to get to know the other person. The problem with that is if you're coming into the date and this is kind of like, I need to know about the other person, different things. I need to know if we're compatible. I want to get to know the other person. It's very similar to an interview. And you know what? In some cases, it's similar to interrogation. So now instead of just having a flowing conversation where two people enjoy each other's presence, it becomes an interview or an interrogation. And whatever, you're constantly judging the person while you're there. Okay, so where do you work? Oh, okay, that's fine. And where do you live? Oh, okay, that's fine. And what are your hobbies? The other person will feel it. When in your mind you are there to evaluate the other person, they will sense it. And besides the fact that it's not fun and it's not real and authentic, you're really who you are, it doesn't come out, the other person will naturally and subconsciously become defensive, become closed off, and feel judged, and your chances to succeed actually reduces. Now, here's what people tell me, then what's the point? If I'm there to get to know the other person, so, I mean, if I'm just there and I'm not getting to know the other person, what's the point of actually going on the first date? And I have a nice analogy for that. If you go to a restaurant and somebody says to you, you go to that restaurant and have lunch, and I need to review that restaurant for a website. So I need you to find out for me, how is the food? How is the service? How is the ambiance? Do they accept credit cards? Is it crowded? Is it good for groups? Is it a nice place for dinner? All different kind of things that I want you to find out when you're going to have lunch over there. You're going to go there, and in your mind, you're going to probably say, okay, there's a bunch of things I need to find out. And maybe even bring a pen and paper or somehow. And you're going to sit there, you're going to order your lunch, but you're constantly going to feel like, I have a task to do, and you're going to feel like you're working. And at the end, you will know. You will know all the questions you needed to know, even if that person doesn't give you a list of questions, but they say, find out about that restaurant as much as you can because I need to know for a website. You will make notes of everything and you'll be very aware. But what you won't do is actually, you won't really truly enjoy. You won't really be present. You won't just be there, and if you're sitting with someone, just enjoy the actual lunch. Now let's talk about a different scenario. Where you just go to lunch somewhere for whatever reason, because you're going with a coworker or with a friend. And when you come out, you meet a friend and you say, I just had lunch somewhere. And you say, wow, you were there. I'm actually supposed to write a review for it. So can you tell me, how is the ambiance? How is the food? How is the service? All these questions. Now, because you've been there and you've eaten there, even if you haven't come with the mindset to find out everything, you will have a lot of information. You will know almost everything you need to know. You may not know everything on the list, but you will have a really, really good idea about that restaurant. And it's the same thing on a date. So you're coming in saying, I need to learn about that person. Now you're not present. Now you're not enjoying. Now the date becomes work. But if you just come there and enjoy the date, you will still have all the answers to the questions you may have. And guess what? If you don't have some of the answers, you go on a second date or even on a third. Now, when I talk to my customers one-on-one and they have certain questions that are really important for them and they don't want to, quote-unquote, waste their time on a second date before they know certain things, there are ways to find out. You don't always have to ask in order to get the answer. Sometimes you talk about something and you get to find out what you really want to find out based on that conversation. And sometimes it's worth it to go on a second date in order to find out what it is. But on a first date, here is the goal you really want to have. And that will accomplish everything you need to accomplish. The goal on the first date is to have a good time. Just go and have fun. Enjoy the ambiance, enjoy the conversation, enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the activity. If you go on a walk on the park, enjoy the walk on the park. If you go for a drink, enjoy your drink and the music and the atmosphere. Whatever you're going for, you're going for food, enjoy the food. Whatever you're doing at that first date, including the conversation, enjoy the conversation. Now, some people are not as comfortable as others having a conversation, and it's a little bit stressful. And that's why we at the Dating Academy teach a lot of conversation skills to actually get you the confidence to be a great conversationalist, knowing what to say, how to make every topic interesting, what topics to highlight, what topic to kind of like, I don't want to say avoid, but low light, move past them, and how to be interesting and make the conversation interesting. But either way, you want to make sure that you enjoy the conversation itself. You enjoy the presence of the other person and make it a goal that I am going to have fun doing what I'm doing. Now, it may not be very easy when you say have fun if you have all those pressure to succeed. But if you take out all the pressure to succeed, it's so much easier to just be there and be in the moment, be truly who you are. Let me tell you one more tip. A lot of people feel like I need to come across a certain way. I need the other person to like me. So if I'm truly who I am, some people might like me, some people not. And you know what I want to say to you? That is absolute great. That's what you want. You're not a good match with everyone. You're not going to have chemistry with everyone. So if you're going on 10 dates and you have two choices. One choice is you have 5 people really, really like you and 5 people not really feeling any connection and not really feeling chemistry and not interested in seeing you again. Or the other choice is you're going to have 10 people feeling, it's okay, you know. I don't care, whatever, it's nice. Which one would you choose? You probably want to choose the one where you have 5 people that really like you and say, well, the ones that didn't like me, they're probably not the perfect match for me, or maybe that date didn't go well. But you still want to be who you are, and this way, the right person will actually get really excited about seeing you again. Chemistry happens when you're true, when you're real, when you're authentic, and when you're present. When you're there and you don't have any hidden agendas. So, Don't go to the date with the mindset of getting a second date, and do not go to the date with getting to know who that person is in your mind. Go to the date to have a really, really good time. Work on your conversation skills so that you can enjoy not only your atmosphere and everything that's going around you, but also the conversation itself, and don't worry about the results. Have fun. Some people may like you, some people may not. And you know what? If you're looking for a relationship, you're probably looking for just one person. So if you go out on 10 dates and one person really, really likes you, and they're excited about that second date, which is going to lead to a third and a fourth, that's all you need. Much better than having 10 people feel, Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe to the Dating Academy here on YouTube. Like and share it with your friends. And always feel free to reach out to me at Israel@thedatingacademy.com. Thank you so much for listening. Again, I'm Israel Ironstein with the Dating Academy at thedatingacademy.com. I'm looking forward to hearing from you.